Come in. Hi, Stephen.
Hello there.
Hi, just take a seat.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Everything alright with you?
Yes,
Yeah.
things not too bad, yes.
Alright, that's
yes,
fine.
yes.
Did you do anything nice at the weekend?
Aye, yeah, I had a good weekend. I sang in the choir, the community and church choir. Yeah, very good. Everything went well. So it was Friday night. Friday night I was with the church choir. I was singing there. The Lord Mayor was there. There was other people from other churches. Sunday morning at the church there was an open day.
Right.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. And there was also Saturday morning there was a good service there as well, where we also carried on doing a bit singing with the choir. So that was 3, and from that we got some other bookings, you know,
Alright.
for over the Christmas and everything, and that I was quite taken back.
Alright,
So it
that's
was
great. You've
very
been in the choir
good.
long?
I've been in the choir about 9 months, and I thoroughly enjoy it because I'm an instrumental person. I play a few instruments and things, and I sing anyway. So yeah, it was just an added bonus to be able to carry on and just sing with them. Gives us a lot of pleasure. And I mean, I do actually sing when I'm at work, you know, and I'm just hoping that I don't like upset anybody when we singing, but nobody said anything. You know.
Right,
of course, if they didn't say anything, well, you know, I could always curb it.
You're just being happy, aren't you?
Well, that's it. It's just being happy at work, you know, which is what I am basically. Yes. Yeah, so,
Alright, that's great.
yeah, all good. Thank you.
So you're saying about the Christmas thing, you've got a couple of bookings and everything, so you got any other like big shows coming up, or you must like music and stuff like that?
Well, I do like music. Well, in fact, I'm actually looking forward to, it's like Proms Night in the local city. They have a Proms Night there, and it's really good. So it's just like being at the Proms itself, and everybody's waving their flags, and it's all a bit of British and that, and they're singing all the old British songs, and I really enjoy it. So I'll be taking a few friends there, and just before the Empire collapses, I think. So yes, it'll be it'll be good. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great. So, as you know, today I've called you in because we're going to do an appraisal. You might have heard it as a performance review. And what it is that we look at the way that you're working. You've been with us for 12 months now. It's an annual appraisal. You had your first one after your first 3 months. That was just a periodic review to over your probation period. After that, we take a look, we see how you've performed during that time. We just look at different factors like that. So we see how you're getting on, what the future improvements might be, and anything like that. So, so long as you're okay, is there anything I can get you? Do you want a drink of water or anything?
Oh no, I'm fine, thank you. I just stopped somewhere before I came in, and yeah, I got fed and water, so fine. Thanks very much.
That's brilliant. So, first thing that we're going to look at is your performance, and it's against the targets that you've got. Did you bring your key performance index with you today?
Yes, yeah, I've got them all here.
All right.
Yeah,
And is that your self-appraisal that you've got there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have had good performance against your target. First 3 months were actually outstanding. We thought you were great. You were hitting all the targets that were set in place in comparison with other new starters. So that's great performance there. But we have noticed over the last couple of months that it has started to reduce. And I was just wondering if there's been any particular reason for that.
Yeah, well, I think the main reason for that is he's changed the format on the tablet where all the work, the jobs come through, the items all come through. And the thing is, to me, it was straightforward. It was simple before. It was just worked out so I could look at one thing, relate it to another thing, and knew exactly what was wanted from us, where to get it from. I could just go and do the job, get it done, and then all of a sudden, overnight, the whole thing's changed.
Right.
Everything on the tablet there, the structure of it, the format, it completely changed. And to be honest, I'm reading it several times, and even after reading it several times, I'm still unsure. And because I'm unsure with it, what's happening is, basically, I'm starting to not feel confident or be confident with what I'm doing. And because I'm not confident, it's taking us twice as long to do the job.
Okay, well, looking back, I can see on here, it does seem to be a bit of a drop in November, because November and December, you're only actually 2 above the target performance, and previous to that you were around about the 4 above on your orders per hour. So I think it's potentially to do with the, obviously you've said about the update, which came in about November, so that's obviously an issue there. How did you get on with the training day?
Well, I missed the training day, and I think that's what doesn't help matters any. It wasn't my fault. It was just due to circumstances, and two things were falling together actually at work, because I was actually there on the day, but I couldn't get out of where I was with the job that I've got to actually make it to where I had to go. I did notify somebody, but obviously they've never got back to notify you
so
that I
might not have
wouldn't.
been relayed.
That's right, it hasn't been
I see
relayed,
the problem there.
and therefore, because of that, and I've never had a chance really to try and see about getting anything in place. So to me, I realise it's one of them big
Right.
what's caused the problem.
So
basically.
it's obviously something that needs to be looked into. We'll put you on a training day, because obviously being in on the day, we probably would have assumed that just went, but it's been 2 months now, so I'm sorry you probably have struggled with that, so we'll make sure that's a priority, that you get that training that you need, just so that you are up to standard and we can try and address those issues.
Carry on any further, really.
Right, okay. Like you say, like we've just said, your targets are being met, but the team that you are in is like one of our key teams. We call it the best in class, and they're the benchmarks that we're trying to achieve in that team, because all the teams that I'm responsible for are really high achievers, and we have noticed that you are one of the lower performers within the team that you're in, and just wondering if you could open my eyes towards any problems that might be there.
This is where I've been struggling with this myself for quite some time now, but it was like after the first 2-3 months when I was working, I could manage everything quite fine and work with both hands. But over the past couple of months or so, I found that the use of the right hands, it's been going. So what's happening is, when I'm going to pick something up, if I've already got something in my left hand, I'm going to pick with the right, I can't pick anything up with it, and I've got to put what's down in my left hand. Therefore, I feel like I'm achieving half the work than what I would be if it was all right. And I feel that it is slightly getting worse at the moment, and where when I first started, I didn't have this problem. The problem wasn't there, but it's starting to come now. I'm sure I'd like to think that it could be treated within time to get it back on form again, or there might be a different way of lifting things or whatever with the hand. But very possibly, I do feel that's what's like hindering things and stopping things from progressing the way they really should.
Okay, well, it definitely sounds like there is some form of problem there, so I definitely recommend that you get that checked by a doctor, because a lot of the time people just think it's something small, they're not really bothered about it, but we don't want to see a long-term problem arising. So whether it might just be a repetitive strain thing, whether it is something deeper that needs to be investigated, we do want you to go and get that checked out. Let us know if it means that we need to give you some time off for repair or whatever. That is something that we would accommodate, obviously, because we don't want you to be affected by this in the long run. Just do want to make sure, are you using all of the machinery that's provided? You're not trying to lift things that are too heavy?
No, I'm using everything there. I'm doing everything in accordance with what's in the book to what I should do, what I shouldn't do, but nevertheless the things that is left to the hand to do, then I've got no other option but to use the hand, and this is where it comes in. It's not really that. I feel that sometimes there's like underachievement as well. I think possibly could be caused through the forklift. Sometimes when I'm going into certain bays to get things, sometimes I'm having to sit for 2 or 3 minutes because there's other forklifts there waiting to get into the bays. I'm sitting there, where if that bay was open, I'd just be able to drive straight in, get whatever it was, get it out, you know. And obviously over the period of a day, you know, by the time you're talking about 3 or 4 minutes each time, you know, it may run into 3/4 of an hour, which is wasted if the time he's sitting there instead of, you know, just being able to get on with my job.
I see. Just going back to the question I've got here, it's about the best in class benchmarks, and if you're not achieving that, it's the reason why you're not doing it. If there's a problem with that kind of thing, it would most likely affect the whole team, but we're primarily only seeing it in your area, so we don't believe that to be a major issue. But obviously, if there is queues there, that's preventing other staff as well. You have mentioned about your wrist problems, so it will be something that we'll look into. Maybe we can distribute those items at different parts within the warehouse. Then we can have a look at an alternative way to prevent the queuing and stuff like that, so hopefully that will help you as well.
Right, I'll see, I understand that, that sounds good,
Okay. There was something in the past with George as well. I just want to know how are things going with him.
well, everything's fine now. In fact, I think me and George is becoming the best of friends. But there was issues there, but we did have split personalities. Were two different kinds of people, interested in different things. His attitude to life is totally different to mine. Really nothing that should cause offence to either of we. But, well, he might feel like I'm coming on a bit heavy, and I feel as if he's coming on a bit heavy. Whether it's who's to blame or not, I mean, I would say it's him because he's not seeing things my way, and he would say it's me because I'm not seeing things his way.
Right.
So, but like I say, that was in the past, it's gone now, the issue has been settled, it's
So
no
you
longer
work
there.
well together.
We work well together now, and everything's coming along fine. Yeah.
Okay. How about the rest of the team? Is everyone okay?
Well, the rest of the team, that's a different thing. I mean, fortunately or unfortunately for myself, I mean, I'm interested in philosophy, religion, I like reading about these kind of things, I like talking about all these kind of things, and it's like me as a person, and I'm sort of very laid back in the way of all these things and the way of life. But I find the vast majority of the people that work here, they're like, I want to go to the football match, I want to go and play golf, I want to go and play, and to be honest with you, I can't be bothered with none of it at all whatsoever.
I do understand that you want to go for a team leader position as well. So
Yes.
in our perspective, the way that we see that is that you do have to have a good working relationship with the majority of your team.
Yes, and because of that, I do realise I'm going to have to change the outlook on life as far as the people I'm working with, and I realise that I am going to have to become more sociable and try and mix with people, understand them, and even possibly try and take a little bit more interest in football or golf or cricket, so whatever it is. So I've got an interest, and I've got something in common, at least that I can talk on basic lines with, you know, with the rest of the people that work for the company. Even though it does go against me grain a bit, I don't want it affecting anything that is going to interfere with me being an asset to the company. And I feel I can be an asset to the company being a team leader, because I feel it's one of my attributes, it's something I can do. I know for a fact I can do it, I'll be good at it, and therefore I don't want this, my own personal thing, coming into hindering anything. So therefore I'll try and curb my ways, and I will try to mix a bit more and learn more.
Right. So like social events, are you joining in with any of that? Because you clearly have a bit of a passion for the company, and it's just in terms of social things. You're not getting involved at charity nights.
No, I realise that, but there again, due to the fact I have put in for the team leader's position, I realise I'm going to have to. But I would like it to come from the heart as possible, so therefore the sooner I start doing it, and the sooner I start putting this effort in, I will, you know, deeply try to obtain it just for the company, because I don't want the personal things interfering with the company. I just want, you know, because the company gives me a lot when I'm here. I feel like I've got a point, I've got a purpose in my life. It takes me away from the responsibilities, things that I have it to them, and therefore I just feel like I just want to uplift things, in, you know, because the company does that for me, I want to give it back, so I'm taking and giving back.
Well, the next one is a Christmas night out, so
Right.
I can give you the information for that if you think.
Yes, well,
you're up to
yeah,
it.
I'll make a start. Yeah, it'll be a first, but maybe it's hopefully the first of many, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah,
Okay, that's brilliant to hear.
yeah, I'll make a try.
Another thing that I have here is the number of absences in the last 12 months. You reached 8. In the company, we do consider that quite high in terms of other staff performance as well. Is there any reason lying around that?
Well, there is. I mean, on my personal side of life, I mean, I am a one-parent family. I've been on my own for quite some time now, so therefore it's like juggling work and looking after my daughter, basically, and that's why, because everything is there at home, and because my daughter has got learning difficulties and things, I find it difficult at home, and that's why, like, when I come to work, it's like I turn myself off and I get on with work, which is good for me because it gives me my mind a chance to relax, and that's how I can be an asset to the company, by putting all my efforts in. But getting away from the fact that I'm letting the company down by not turning in on them occasions, unfortunately the childminder Hesler is down through circumstances of her own. On one occasion she rang us up and said she was at this event, a singing event, there was a music event. She couldn't get back to be there to watch my daughter. I couldn't have nobody else to rely on. If the situation had been normal where my daughter had been within normality, then possibly I could have found somebody else who would have been able to stay with her. But due to the fact she has got these learning difficulties and her behavioural problems, it's got to be specific, the kind of person who would watch and have to be with her.
Okay, and obviously it's not helped by the cancellation and things like that causing upset to the routine. So
well, that's it.
It does always seem to be around about the same period of time in the 2 days, because you work weekends as well. So.
Well, that's the trouble, because I do work weekends in my shift patterns. That creates a lot of the trouble, because that's the time when I think she's wanting, you know, these bits of things.
Well, I do think my brother lives in the same area as you, and he has a childminder who does specifically deal with that kind of thing. So obviously not wanting to step on your toes or anything, but if you do feel like it might be an alternative to change childcare provider, I do have a contact if you would be interested on that.
Yeah, well, that'll be good as long as they'd have sort of experience with the problems that my daughter's got, which would come into it. And due to the fact that I think it's coming through yourself and through the company in a way, with it being through yourself, that I'm not going to be let down like I am being let down.
I haven't heard a bad word from what he said. So, I mean, obviously you want to take a look, see who they are, meet them, make sure they've got the qualifications in terms of dealing with that particular type of thing that your daughter might have. But it's definitely something we can look at for you if
all
it might
right.
help you out.
Yeah, well that'll be good. Yeah, I think that'll be a good way forward. It'll just stop these things from happening again, because it's very traumatic. All of a sudden you expect to go to work and you expect everything to be taken care of at home, and all of a sudden you find you're not going to work. You know, so obviously the sooner I have the situation solved, the better for me and for the company. So that'll be good. Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask me while you're here?
Will I be able to come and see yourself at any time at all whatsoever, just for a chat?
Absolutely.
So
I'm always here in my office if there's anything you've got any concerns about. If you don't, I mean, we always try to prompt you to go towards your team leader, but I understand that is Harry Smith, who you were saying before that you had a little bit of a dealing with. So if you don't feel too comfortable going to him, you can still come to anyone in my department, and we'll talk through it and make sure that everything gets sorted for you anytime you want.
Alright, that's good. So I don't need to make an appointment. Well, anyway, if I do have to make an appointment, I'll just give you a call and you'll tell us when I can come and see.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, oh well, that's lovely. It'll make all the difference.
Anything else?
Yeah. No, I think that's... Oh yes, if you just sort it out and let us know as soon as possible about this training for the tab, so I can get on top of it as soon as possible, because otherwise it's just going to carry on until I get this sorted out.
Well, it's an IT firm that we got the software update from, so it's a member of the team at their end comes out and actually delivers the training to you. So even if it's a one-to-one, that is something that they do. If you want someone in there, we can have someone sitting to make sure that you're understanding the training,
right.
And we'll get you back out on the floor as soon as we can. It's classroom based, it's not online training or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about the technology side. It's one-to-one. They talk to you about the system that you're using.
Yeah. Alright, well that sounds good. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Looking forward, I think with this new system coming in, you weren't fully to grips with it. Every 2 weeks, I think we'll just do a smaller report, make sure that you are getting back up to your targets.
Yeah.
Try and get that sorted out, and then we can monitor from there, so we can understand that it is. It's a realistic aim because you're provided with the training, all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be measurable, because every 2 weeks, we'll have a look, make sure that you're on target. If there's anything else that needs addressing, we'll sort that out.
Alright then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep, so everything will just be measured as far as what you've just said, so it's not as if I'm just going to get the training, that's going to be it. It's going to be measured, so eventually I should be back on track.
Yeah, well, I'm going to mark these time constraints, the actions that we're going to make, and I'm putting that all down, and we'll try and get that done as soon as possible.
Alright, oh well that's lovely. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Stephen.
Alright.